Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of RV Tips and Trips. Today I'm going to do a quick video on our solar system. What prompted this was because of the live stream that I did yesterday. Got some questions about the solar system, particularly the suitcase system that I use, sitting right there. And then of course the solar system that I put up on the roof all not that long ago. So this video is actually for Sue D because she asked about it. So here you go. Hope you enjoy. All right, so the system we're using on the roof is the Renogy system. The beginner's kit, actually. It was at an awesome price. 2 100-watt solar panels and a PWM controller, 30 amp, and the cabling that's required to do it. And I had more than enough cable to complete the system. So you can see up on the roof there, you can see the solar panel in the very front. And I did do a video on the installation on this, and I'll reference that in the description. But you can see there's the other panel right up there. They're very compact. They don't take up a lot of room, and there's lots of space on this roof, so we could easily expand this. Now I went with the PWM, number one, because it's cheaper. It's a simpler device, less to go wrong than versus the MPPT, which is a lot more sophisticated and takes up more real estate in the basement, a little bigger, but quite a bit more money. And we use this mostly in warmer climates. So when it's really hot out, the MPPT does not really perform any better than the PWM does. If you're going to use it in places where it gets quite cold, then the MPPT will outperform the PWM. I may eventually upgrade to the MPPT anyway, but for now, the system works well enough for me. So 200 on the roof, 200 on the portable, gives us a total of 400 watts. And on a good day, the portable system can actually crank out a little more amp hours than the roof, because I can keep directing the portable system at the sun all day long, getting maximum amperage out. All right, so the portable system that I'm using, we've had this 4 years, actually almost 5 years now, and it's made by Zamp, and it's pretty rugged. It is heavy. It weighs about 50 pounds, but it performs very well. Nice strong legs. Is also a PWM controller that came with it. Can work with lithium batteries. So does the Renogy system. And the currents combine. I plugged the Zamp system into the solar port that was provided with the rig. And then of course the Renogy system up on the roof I had to wire in. But so nice easy place to plug into. You do have to get the adapter cable to go to the Furrion connection. So it's about 4 or 5 feet long, and then connects right there. And then it has its own inline fuse from the Zamp system. So you have to have this if you got the Furrion connector. So that is sold separate. This is a 200 watt suitcase or portable system is no longer available. They make a 230 watt and they make a 180 watt. So 180 watt should do almost as well as this 200 watt system and probably should cost a little bit less. They are pricey, but it is a premium product. I do believe in it quite a bit. Since it weighs 50 pounds, I know that's heavy, but you know what? It's not going to blow over in the wind, which is a big consideration. A lot of these portable systems, yeah, they're cheaper, but they're also very lightweight. And if you just can't leave them out all the time because the wind gusts up, it's going to blow over. Also real lightweight, easy to steal. This I can secure to one of the legs of the trailer with a lock, and I can engage it around the legs. I mean, if they want it bad enough, they'll take it, but it makes it more of a hassle for them to try and steal it. You got the handle right there. You could loop your security lock system to the trailer using the handle. So that handle is pretty strong. So, but overall, I am really happy with this Zamp system. No problems with it whatsoever. And like I said, I did a video on this, and I'll put a link in the description as well. I like doing things as inexpensively as possible. So to run the inverter, I just hook up my power cord like I normally would be hooking up to an RV pedestal, but instead of doing that, I connect through an adapter down to a 15 amp plug, run an extension cord into my inverter. Now let's go take a look at that. Alright, so in the basement. Now I got this 1500 watt inverter with a 3000 watt surge. So why did I choose a 1500 watt inverter? Because the higher wattage the inverter, the more current draw off the batteries. So I did not expect to run anything really higher than 1500 watts. So I do have that fused with a inline fuse, 175 amps. The inverter should not draw more than 150 amps. So I've had this inverter a good long while. Has worked extremely well for me. They still sell these online on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. 2 Ys or YZ, I don't know how that is pronounced for sure, 100 amp hour each, 12 volt lithium iron phosphate batteries. Now I did what's considered a no-no. This battery, I'll take that back. This battery I bought a year ago, and then this battery I bought 6 months after buying that one, and added it and put them in parallel, and that was not a problem. I figured it this way. These have a battery management system built into them, and they regulate how the cells are charged. And so any differences between the batteries, the BMS is going to take care of. So I was not worried about that. There's the controller. It's a 30 amp PWM. Doesn't take up much room. and it's reliable. I've had that system once before on my other trailer, and of course when I sold the trailer I gave up the solar system that I installed on it. So this just was exactly the same as my other setup. So by hooking up the power cord and run it to an extension cord to the inverter, instead of using a automatic switchover system, I do it manually. Nothing to fail there. I just plug it in. It's no big deal. Now you could, instead of doing this manually, like I do, hooking the power up to the inverter, you could get yourself a automatic switchover system. They tend to be a little pricey, number one. You got to wire in, you got to hardwire into the electrical system itself, and then run with conduits, power cable under the trailer and up into the inverter. You could do that, but I'm a cheapskate. And hooking it up this way is not an issue. Now, I don't leave the basement wide open. I close it down and secure it as close as possible with a tie-down cord. I may eventually hook up a outlet right up in here for the inverter, so then I can just plug straight in. And I may do that, but right now I'm just kind of living with it this way. Quite simple. Now, these Wise batteries so far have really done a very good job. I'm happy with them so far. 200 amp hours. Maybe that's a little bit on the light side compared to the amount that we use. Got to keep the wife happy, and she likes to watch her TV and that. So she'll watch TV. Between that and running lights and then the computer and that, we're looking 6 hours, 7 hours, and I'm pretty good at estimating power consumption. I don't have a meter on here that shows total power into the batteries and out. I think that I may eventually get it, but I estimate how much power we use during the course of the day and what's going back into the batteries. And I may do a video on how to do all that anyway, sizing the system and that. So we go through 140 to 150 amp hours a day on average. Some days a little bit less, some a little bit more. So ideally, an additional 100 amp hour battery would be in line. But the more battery power you have, the more solar you're going to need to charge those batteries. You don't want to be taking 2 and 3 days to get those batteries charged back up. You want to be able to charge your system back up within a day if you got some good sunshine. And then if it's cloudy like this, it's going to be a little tougher to get the system back up to charge. And you could run yourself into a situation where each day you're depleting the battery a little bit more, not getting enough current in. So our system can do it. Between the two, we can hit a maximum of 24 amps between the two systems to the battery. But we'd like to be able to use the electronics and stuff in the trailer during the course of the day too. Coffee makers, whatever, you know, TV, computer. During the daylight hours, we have an outside fridge that's running off the system right now too, on the outside kitchen. So, and that you gotta also figure this too, with the inverter, and this is another reason why I limited it to 1500 watts. If you have something that draws 1 amp on AC power, that translates back to the battery to 10 amps roughly current draw. So current draw at the battery is 10 times of what it is on the AC side. So you want to use as much DC stuff as possible. The TV, we have a 50-inch ultra high definition LED TV, and I estimate that it draws at the battery about 15 amps an hour. So 15 amp hours. So you gotta add all these things up and to be able to determine how much battery you need and how much solar you're going to need. So, but if you're going to draw about 100 amp hours a day, then 200 amp hours worth of battery is reasonable, and 400 watts of solar will do it. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it soon, is I'm going to add another 200 watts on the roof. So I'll have 400 up on the roof, 200 on the portable. I will always keep the portable system because sometimes you just have to park under a tree. You may not have a choice. And then with the portable system, you can just keep directing it to get maximum current output throughout the whole day. But it also gives us a nice boost, because if I have 400 up on the roof, so then 400 watt system should generate me 20 to 22 watt, or 20 to 22 amps. And then the portable system generate another 12 on top of that. I have 36 amp hours. So now we'll be able to run our electronics during the course of the day and still charge the battery to full. Also, with 36 amp hour capacity, we can charge the batteries back up a lot more quickly. So if it's sunny in the morning and then clouds up in the afternoon, we can get the batteries all fully charged before the clouds hit. And that's what my thinking is on that. So here, what I do is in the morning, the sun comes up in this direction. So I'll set up the portable system to face that direction for first thing in the morning. So I do that at night. And then the sun comes over in this direction, and so then I have to move it to this position. And then later on in the day, when we get towards the end of the day, the sun will be over here, and so then I move the panels to here and catch the maximum amount of sunlight and power during the course of the day. So that will give me more amp hours over the course of the day than the system that's up on the roof. It's just because I keep positioning the suitcase one. So the reason the one on the roof misses the morning and late day sun rays, so if this was a solar panel, early morning sun is like this, so you're not getting much direct light onto the panel. And then as the sun comes up, it does this more and more, and then when the sun is straight over, you have maximum current output, and then it goes down the other way until the end of the day. So with the portable system, I can maximize morning and late afternoon. Midday, the solar system on the roof and the portable system put out the same amount of power. Overall, though, during the course of the day, if you do this right, it will portable will outperform the roof until I put an additional 200 watts up there. Now, I do have to say those YZ batteries were a really good buy. They're way less expensive than something like Battleborn, number one. And their performance seems to be really good. Now, I have really kind of abused the heck out of them because the batteries, as you saw, are up in the front basement. Heat does not get up there. When I didn't really anticipate being in really cold weather when traveling. But here in Colorado with the elevation, it got down a few nights down to 28 degrees. So lithium iron phosphate batteries do not tolerate the cold very well. And you certainly shouldn't charge them when they're below freezing. You can discharge them, you can still use the battery below freezing up to a certain point. But you shouldn't charge them at freezing. Nice thing about these batteries is that they have a low temperature cutoff. So it will not allow the batteries to charge when it goes below freezing. So that saves those batteries. Because like I said, we kind of use them. We had quite a few nights where it hit 28 degrees. Those batteries, they won't freeze, but you can ruin the cells by trying to put a charge in them when it's that cold. So they have done very well so far. I mean, a year is not a huge amount of time. These are supposed to last 10 years or 8,000 cycles. We shall see. But so far, a year into it with the one battery, 6 months into it with the other battery. Yeah, the second battery you added in February, so it's not quite 6 months there. This is June. Today is June 11. But so far, I am happy with the Wise batteries. They're done well. They're also very lightweight. I did a video on them when I first got them, so I'll put a link in the description for that as well. So overall, the overall investment, the portable system and the Renogy is really minimal. My big expense was the Zamp system. As you can see, they're pretty expensive, but I don't know if I would really want to go with those ultra lightweight ones. Too easy for someone to pick it up and run off with them, and like I said, you can't just leave them out like you can this Zamp system's been out in all sorts of weather and still works perfectly after all these years. So output is just terrific. 12.5 amps I think is about max that I've gotten out of them, and that's really exceptional. So I can't wait to put another 200 watts up on the roof. The basic system was under 250 bucks through Amazon, and I did add the Bluetooth module, which sits right there. It's called BT1. Just plugs right into the Renogy PWM. But it gives you all sorts of useful information. Shows you what the battery voltage is, what the solar voltage is, current being provided by the solar system, and total amp hours. And it gives you a whole history on it too as time goes on. I think you can store almost a year's worth of data in there if you want to go back and go through it all. I don't see a real strong need for that either. So you can do this real cheap. I said the portable system was not cheap, but I've had that a long time, and I plan on keeping it a lot longer. But you can start off with the basic system for under 250 bucks and up and running. Runs a little more than that when you add the Bluetooth module, but I think you'll find that real handy, because I can just pull up at any time and see what the state of the battery is and what the state of the charge coming in is. I think I'm going to add another monitor device where you can see the net current flow going to and from the battery, and that history during the course of the day. And then I don't have to approximate or guess what my current draw is and that, because I can see it exactly. So I may add that into the system too. Not absolutely necessary. Like I said, you can keep it cheap, keep it under the $250 if you want by buying the Renogy basic system. There's other ones available too. They're even just a little bit cheaper, but I like Renogy. I've used them for a long time, never had a problem with them. Been in all sorts of weather, heavy snow, hail, and they have held up. So now it is also worth mentioning that in all the boondocking we've done with this setup, we have not actually run out of power anywhere. I mean, we did a lot of harvest hosts where we're running off our solar, sometimes just what we have on the roof and not bringing out the portable system. The last time we were here at Elk Creek, we ran both systems together for 8 days, never ran out of power. And we had quite a few cloudy days, so there was quite a few days where we were not able to bring the batteries up to full. And now this time we are here 7 days, and we're here 5 out of the 7 so far and have not run out of power either. So even though today is mostly cloudy, so far we have cranked out more than 100 amp hours back into the batteries, but that's still not enough to bring it up to full charge because we've run it down quite a bit. So we'll see how we end up at the end of the day. Oh, we're getting some good sun power right now. Look at that. This thing does really, really good. I love it. All right, I hope you find this information helpful and useful. I will list everything that I use in the description with their links. And if you use them, great. You know, I may earn a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out. And I guess that is it for today's video. So, any questions? Leave them down in the comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, happy camping. Bye now. Thomas says thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share. Until next time, happy camping.